Hey guys, I'm sitting on what's left of Inspiration Oak. This is the remnant of a huge, massive live oak tree that's situated about halfway in between Fairhope and Magnolia Springs, maybe a little bit closer to Magnolia Springs, Alabama, but very close to Fish River. And this oak has a great story, but a tragic story. It was over 500 years old. At one time, the girth of the trunk was over 27 feet in diameter. I don't know if you can get the full perspective of how big it is from me sitting here. I hope you can, and I hope the video will do it justice. But I could lay down across this and not be able to have my head off one end or my toes off the other. It's wide enough that a grown man could lay across it and still have room to spare. It stood 65 feet tall, and its branches spread out for over 100 feet in every direction, and just like every beautiful live oak, the branches dipped down and touched the ground. It brought shelter not only to a weary traveler who wanted to rest under the shade of the tree, but also to the squirrels and to the birds and to all of the wildlife of the area. And unfortunately, man came along and did what man does best. Some 25 or 30 years ago now, I remember this because I lived here at the time. There was a dispute between the landowner who owned the land and the county who wanted to buy the property to protect the tree. The county made an offer, the landowner rejected it, got offended by the offer, and the landowner hired somebody to do what's called girding the tree. And that is, they took a chainsaw and they cut into the bark and cut a belt all the way around the tree. A massive undertaking was launched to try to save this historic tree. 500 years. This tree was here when Christopher Columbus landed in the New World. This tree has seen the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, World War I, World War II, and everything in between. This tree has seen the lunar landing, the Wright brothers' flight, and everything else that man has done in the last 500 years. And just like that, because of greed, it was destroyed. A man named Stanley Foote, Mr. Foote, I'm not sure if he's still alive, but he's a great American. He undertook to save the tree. He had some technical background, some scientific background, and he started grafting the gird. He looped in pieces of green tree in a special formula of glue, if you will, and tried to graft the gird to save the tree. All in all, the community came forward and raised a lot of money and put a lot of heart and soul into this oak tree trying to save it. But regrettably, it just wasn't meant to be. At some point, the oak became named Inspiration Oak. I don't know if that was before or during the saving effort. I tried to do a little research. I couldn't find any reference to it being called Inspiration Oak before it had been girded. So I think it was probably a rallying cry, if you will. But let me tell you, even as I sit here today, there's inspiration in this oak. It's nothing more now than a rotting corpse. This one day, even this trunk, this stump, as massive as it is, one day it will all be gone. But it still inspires, and here's why. Number one, it's a reminder to us of the depravity of man. Just for the love of money, this tree was destroyed. Just for greed, this tree was cut down. And it didn't have to be. In fact, the tree was far more valuable than any money that ever could have been attributed to its worth. The tree offered far more than a few dollars of value. And so, number one, we learn that man can be depraved. And so this tree inspires us to do better, right? In the face of evil, be inspired to do better. A wise man, the exact attribution of this is often debated, but a wise man once said, all it takes for evil to prevail is for good men to do nothing. You know what? There are a lot of oak trees that get cut down every day because good men do nothing. And so Sitting here on Inspiration Oak, I'm inspired to do more. I'm inspired to do something in the face of evil, and I hope you are too. Number two, this oak still inspires us today because it's a reminder of just what God can do. Imagine a 500-year-old oak tree. Imagine now it would be closer to 550 years old. Imagine the testimony that it has to God's ability. You know, we men, we fight, we spend, we buy health insurance, we engage in the greatest health care that we can find. We take special vitamins and eat special diets, and we do all these things, all in a quest to live longer. But God created something right here that can live 500 years. I'm looking at another live oak. I'll take a picture of it and show it to you. That's probably 300 or 400 years old. That's not 150 feet from me right now. Giant tortoises on the Galapagos Islands sometimes live to be 500 years old. Blue whales and elephants live to be 100 years old. Alligators live to be longer than 100 years old. All of those things, all of that size and might and longevity is a testimony to God's authority. And so don't ever think, friends, that you're in control. Don't ever think that just because you can gird the tree, that means you won. Because it does not. If you gird the tree, all you're doing is taking away something that God tried to do. Instead, as I sit here on this dead tree, this rotting corpse, I'm inspired because I see just how awesome God is. And you can too. That's why I take the girls shepherding outdoors. It's indescribable to stand at the mouth of Mobile Bay as the south wind blows in and the waves white cap. It's indescribable to see just how beautiful it is. But then add to it a rolling thunderstorm blowing in off the Gulf of Mexico and a waterspout that forms. Absolutely amazing. All testimonies to God's authority. So look around, friends. Don't ignore it. Don't take it for granted. And whatever you do, don't cut it down. I hope this gives you some perspective about just how big this tree is. I'm standing on the top of it, and I hope you can see how far out, probably out wider than my wingspan that it reaches. It's truly huge. Look, you know what, in the technical sense of the word, I'm not a tree hugger. I just appreciate what God gave us, and I want to be a steward of it. So look around and be inspired. Look around and find good so that evil will not prevail. I hope y'all have a great day. Love y'all. Take care.